All right, let's talk about the upcoming class. I'm going to call them the freshman class. Don't think you have to correct me and tell me they've been around for a little bit, but the new faces on the block that are moving the needle, right? You got Sugar Sean, you got Patty the Batty, and you got Chimaev. So these guys are in a little competition in and of themselves. If you're not competing for headlines, if you're not competing for questions, if you're not competing for placement on the card, you don't understand what we're doing here. It's as simple as that. And your career can go on and be fine. You'll never feel like a fool for not doing something that you didn't know you should have done in the first place. But I'll just share with you, they are doing a different game. Now, if I'm to be real fair, I feel like things are slowing for Chimaev. Chimaev's red hot. I'm aware. Chimaev just got assigned a main event. I'm well aware. Of a pay-per-view in the Mecca opposite Diaz. I get that everything's great. I'm still arguing for you, which could be proven. You could just go and do a search on Google for headlines. I feel as though I'm seeing less Chimaev today than I did 20 months ago. I am not hearing Chimaev versus the winner of Leon Kamara. I'm just not hearing those things. I'm not hearing move Chimaev back up to 185 and put him in there without a sign, and he's ready for the belts and then go on to 205. I'm just not hearing the same stuff. There was something about the fight with Gilbert Burns that made Chimaev look human to you guys. I saw something different. I thought, this guy's fun, this guy's interesting. The Burns fight proved for me it's true. It validated it. I thought he looked amazing. I thought he got tested. I thought he got pushed. I thought he found himself in a fight that was harder than he thought it was going to be. I felt like the intangibles, like conditioning and grit and toughness, all came into effect, and he passed. I saw something different. But it seemed as though after that fight, in conjunction with not getting the Long Island main event on ABC opposite Covington, I just felt like things slowed. He needed the Diaz fight. He needed the Mecca. He needed Madison Square Garden. It's going to sell it. It's going to do great. This is not an insult. I'm making an observation that the single greatest marketing I have ever seen in my time in this sport was the Chimaev experiment of fighting him on Saturday, weighing him in the next Friday, and having him fight the next day. And then a month later, bringing him to a different country and have him do it all over again in a different weight class. I just thought that was awesome. That's what legends are made of. You can't just go out there and become a legend. Guys sit down, they get okay, I'm going to fight this guy, and then I'm going to beat this guy, and this guy's ranked here, and this guy lost to this guy, but they had a practice room back at the Olympic Training Center, and this guy had Kool-Aid for lunch as opposed to Gatorade, which he does a lot better. Like, stuff gets shut up. You can't plan and map that thing, even though everybody does. There has to be an intangible. If part of your plan and part of your strategy to become a megastar in an extremely short period of time does not involve stepping into a last-minute fight that nobody else was willing to do to get a higher placement on the card. If your plan doesn't involve that, and I guarantee you've never met a fighter whose plan does. But if it doesn't involve that, the clock's going to get you. You're just simply going to run out of time. And you're not going to have that checklist done. And right when you beat the guys that you were planning for, and it's going to take you 4 years to even get the matches, let alone to get them, they're not going to be in the rankings that you had them marked. It's one of these things. You got to be ready to go. You have to have things go your way. You have to have some luck. Michael Bisping's in the Hall of Fame. A world champion who, by the way, was the best fighter in the world. He should have had that belt, but he should have had that belt a year before he did have it. He couldn't get the opportunity. He answered a call on 8 days' notice. The rest is history. I mean, I'm just sharing for you. That was the first name that popped in my head. I could play that game all day. For the guys that stick around and for the guys that stick with you, there's always that swerve. There's always the swerve that got thrown in there that nobody planned for. Or the dreams just don't come true. And in Chimaev's situation, I am still questioning, where does he go from here? Chimaev just put out an interview. See, they should talk to this guy all the time. This guy, he's so interesting. Chimaev was pissed off at Gilbert Burns. Now, I had a fight on social media 12 hours ago with Chris Curtis. We became buddies. My longest standing friend to this day that I have on this earth, Justin Wolf, I met him when he kicked me in the ass. I don't mean that as an expression. I was sitting in something called a sandbox. I was in kindergarten and somebody booted me in the ass. I turned around and looked up and it was him. I mean, great relationships come this way, right? What Chimaev and Gilbert went through, that's a lifelong bond. No wrong, not for Chimaev. Doesn't like the guy. Chimaev came out and said, I was furious to win because I didn't finish him. He was happy to lose because he survived. Like, that's just a powerful statement. That is a powerful psychology. Powerful mindset that one of the top greats who will be a face of this industry in a short period, 2 years is going to be here tomorrow, guys, which is when Chimaev got introduced to the octagon. 2 years will be here tomorrow. Conor, Masvidal, Diaz, I mean, I've got the order. I know how it goes. That pecking order is going to change. Chimaev is going to be in that top three, but he's going to have competition. What is Paddy the Baddy going to do? Now, Paddy the Baddy appears to be a very interesting guy. He appears to have some really good skills, and he appears to have an entire country behind him. It might just be a city. But the appearance is that he has an entire nation. Paddy is not calling guys out. Paddy is not making these waves. They're happening for him. It's a great spot to be in. But when the weather changes, can you stay there? Can you maneuver? How long can you be one of the rising stars in an industry and not be the main event? And not be a top 10 ranked guy? I don't have the answers for this. I'm just asking you questions. And there's a competition, and the great ones are going to compete. You then have Sugar Sean. Sugar Sean has been compared to Conor McGregor. I don't see it. Are they lighter guys? Are they fast rising stars? Do they have some tattoos? I don't know that I see the comparison. Because the one that I would compare Sugar Sean to is Adesanya. Because Sugar Sean is not the next Conor McGregor. He's not the next Rampage Jackson. He's not the next anybody. He's the first Sugar Sean. And he's playing in a different game. He's going to get that attention. He's going to keep it. Look, Sugar Sean just pulled a stunt on Ariel's show. I caught it just a moment ago. He goes on to Ariel's show. He's sitting there, right? Here's the still shot. Sean pops at Ariel. And now, from Arizona, here is Sugar Sean O'Malley. In the background, Sean has a bodyguard. The guy's wearing sunglasses, got his arms crossed. He didn't say a damn thing. Now, that's a play if you happen to be old enough to know. Virgil and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. I'm quite sure that's what inspired this, but it worked. The guy said nothing. They gave him a name. It was one way. His name was like Schmitty or something. He doesn't speak, Ariel asked. He doesn't break character. He doesn't smile or laugh. He stands there. That's interesting. That's entertaining. That's funny. I mean, not for nothing. Sean could have done this exact same spot with Ariel. I would not be talking about it. Many of you would not remember it, even if you enjoyed it. It's something different. And Sean's playing a different game, and he understands these things. Meanwhile, I don't know of anybody in that weight class. I don't know of a top guy. I don't even know of Sean's next opponent, Peter Yan, that has done a single interview. I mean, not for nothing, but you got to pay attention to these things. All of these things matter. The Sugar Athletic Commission officially reviewed the Cheeto Verified and brought Sean back to square. I think he's 15-0 now. So you got Sean, you got Paddy the Baddy, you got Chimaev. I don't know who's leading that. I heard the reception that Chimaev got with the third placement on a main card. It was the number one of the evening, which is very similar to what Paddy the Baddy just did. Sean O'Malley is about to be in a co-main event for number one contendership. I mean, all of these guys got their own argument. The question that I'm here to bring you is, one, to just make you aware of it, two, to appreciate it, because it is fun for us. We do like it. We do like to see it. But there's different paths here. There's different paths. I feel as though Sean is the most aware that he's going to get 3 times a year to compete in front of you guys, but he has 365 days a year that he could get in front of you guys. I feel as though he's the most aware. Paddy the Baddy's got all of this hype, and we just found out over the weekend he's as good as the hype. Like, I don't know where Paddy the Baddy's going to go, and he has massive potential left, because he's so far not had a partner, he's only had an opponent. So if he is this big without a partner, what's going to happen when they bring in the B-side? And then you've got Chimaev, who, while he doesn't give you as much as he used to, he's not out there as much as he was just a matter of months ago. He is coming in to the Mecca known as the Garden, the media capital of the world, which is New York City, opposite the third biggest star in the business. He's going to do something with that. His goals have not changed, which were abundantly clear in this interview that I cited for you a moment ago. His goals have not changed. Kamaru Usman or Leon, whoever's on top, Pierre or Adesanya, who's ever on top, and whoever I can get to first. His goals haven't changed. I feel like his message shouldn't change. I feel like he needs to be out there. But these are the three top in the freshman class that I'm bringing forward for you. Which one, come 2025, is left standing?